In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the thermostat and housing on this BMW 535i xDrive. This is going to be located underneath the vehicle next to the engine on the right side. Let's get into it. Remove this panel, use a Phillips head screwdriver, loosen up these screws. You only loosen them about one turn. They're going to stay in the panel. There's one there. And those two. And grab the panel, just slide it back. With that shield off, you can see where the drain is for the radiator. I'm going to take a straight blade screwdriver, make sure you have a drain bucket underneath, loosen up the valve. There we go. You can open this up before you open the drain or after, like us. We're just going to open this up just so it drains out a little bit quicker. Just take that off and we'll let that drain out. And now that's drained out, most of it's drained out, we're going to close this valve. All right, that valve is closed. Underneath, on the right side of the vehicle, we have these hoses in the way. These are for the power steering. We're going to use a 10mm socket. Take this nut off. You might need some pliers because the whole thing is spinning. Take that bracket off. Just slide those hoses out of the way. And we'll disconnect the connector underneath here. I'm just going to use a straight blade screwdriver. Just get under the tab and pull the connector off. Or could use a pick as well. Disconnect that connector, slide that out of the way. Now we have a drain bucket underneath because we're going to lose a little bit of coolant when we take this hose off. Take a straight blade screwdriver, and there's a little clip right here, or you can use a pick. Take that clip off on both sides. Push that out of the way. That's good. And just grab that hose. Just going to use a straight blade screwdriver just to try to pry this a little bit. Be careful, you don't want to crack anything. It is plastic. And we'll let that drain. I'll pull that off. That's drained out. Set that aside. You can even lock the lock back down. And then further up, there's another hose. And we're going to take this hose off. I'm going to use a pick and just move the clip. Just get under the clip and pull it out, or at least into the service mode. You can pull it off if you want to. Just got to put it back on after. Grab that hose and just rock that off. There we go. We're going to take these two bolts out, use a 10mm socket. Take those out. And this thermostat housing is going to be loose. You just lift this up, and you can see where the hose clamp is right here. I'm just going to use a 1/4" socket, or you can use a straight blade screwdriver. Loosen this hose clamp up. All right, that's loose. And just take a right angle pick. Just get underneath there, loosen this up. Again, drain bucket, because you're going to have some coolant come out. That's drained out. And just take that hose off. Just push that back. Then you can pull this out a little bit more. Take that down. You can see the last hose that's holding this on right there. And we can take this last hose off. You can see on the hose where there's a mark right here, that's going to line up with the bottom of the thermostat housing. There's a little mark on that. So just keep that in mind when you go to put the new one on. We're going to use a 1/4 inch socket, loosen up the clamp, or a straight blade screwdriver. And again, you can use a pick. Just loosen this up. Pull that off. Keep that aside. There's the old one. I'm going to take the housing. You can see where that mark is on the bottom and get that lined up with this hose. So that's roughly in the right spot. Twist that a little bit. You can see right about there. And now we'll tighten up the worm clamp. Make sure that's snug. That's good. Push that back in place. Might have to move some of the hoses out of the way. We need to get the lower hose in. You can reach toward the back side to try to push the hose. Get that in place. Now we'll just pull this up slowly, try to get the clamp in place without the hose falling off. And we'll tighten this down. Should get it a little snug, then you can kind of wiggle it out a little more just to make it easier to access the clamp. And we'll snug that down. That's good there. Take the bolts, get those started. And we'll tighten these down. Now we're going to torque these to 72 inch-pounds. Good. And take the smaller of the hoses. We'll take this clip that we took off. We'll put that on. That's in place. And slide that over and push it on. It should lock in place. You should see the clip come out a little bit and then close back up. That's clipped in. And we'll do the same on the other one. I already put the clip on that and locked it down. Just twist. It's going to be lined up with that tab right there. Lock that down. Now take the connector, line that up with the plug. Plug that in. Make sure you lock it down. Push that all the way up. That's good. Now I take this hose, line this up. Get the nut started. Snug that down. I'm going to take this panel, push that in place. Get the screws started. And just snug those down. About one turn. Yep. Now I'm going to take a funnel and use the appropriate 50-50 mix of coolant. You can check your owner's manual just for the right type. You want to fill up the coolant system. And you want to fill this up. There is a gauge that should pop up. This vehicle, it's broken, but you want to have the coolant pop that gauge up, and then you know that's where you're going to start. Then we're going to have to bleed the system and then double check that gauge. Now we're going to turn the key to the on position without starting the vehicle. Push the start stop without stepping on the brake. Now turn the headlights on. Then you want to take the heat, turn the heat all the way up. Turn the blower all the way down to the lowest setting. And then we're going to push on the accelerator pedal all the way to the floor and hold it down for 10 seconds. And you can hear the pump going. You can let off the accelerator pedal. This is going to go for about 12 minutes. After it's been 12 minutes, you want to shut the vehicle off. The pump may not be running anymore, which it wasn't on this vehicle. Then we're going to adjust accordingly. If the dipstick is still poking out, then you should be good with the coolant. If not, you want to raise the coolant level to make sure it is up to par. And then put the cap back on. Tighten that all the way down. And then you want to run the vehicle, start it, monitor to make sure it's not overheating. Check it for about 10 minutes or so. You should start to feel some heat coming out of the dash, and you should be good to go.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.